Oh, that's the one that moved. Okay, yeah. Yep. I knew there was a shuffle.
So we had a commander from the council out there. It was a good turnout.
Yeah.
We had 35 people from the community.
Defense Artillery Regiment. Welcome and thank you for joining us this afternoon as we recognize Bravo Battery, 1st Battalion, 188th Air Defense Artillery Regiment as they prepare for their mission to support Operation Inherent Resolve. The ceremony will begin shortly. Please take your seats and silence all electronic devices. This afternoon, we bid farewell to Bravo Battery, 1st Battalion, 188th Air Defense Artillery Regiment. In a moment, I will have you all stand, if you are able to, for the entrance of our official party. Please remain standing for the national anthem, played by the 188th Army Band, and Invocation by Chaplain Gion. Just stand at attention, facing the flag, with the right hand over their heart. members of the armed forces will come to the position of attention, veterans who are present and not in uniform may render the military salute. All others should remove their headdress. Please rise and remain standing for the entrance of the official party.
Oh, stay, can you see by the dawn's early light, twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Chaplain Guillaume will now come forward to give the invocation.
Let us pray. Lord God, we ask you to be present to us in this send-off ceremony. We have gathered to honor Bravo Battery as they make their final preparations for deployment. In this ceremony, lend your power to our words, that they be for these deploying soldiers and their families truly encouraging and comforting. Help us to convey our deep respect and gratitude. We beg your protection on the soldiers of Bravo Battery every day that they are away from the safety and stability of home. Quiet their anxiety. Give them fortitude and steadfastness to do what the mission demands. May they put their trust in you. We ask this.
Thank you, Chaplain Guillaume. Please take your seats. The official party for today's ceremony is the Honorable Tammy Miller, Lieutenant Governor of North Dakota, the Honorable John Hoven, United States Senator from North Dakota, Major General Alan Dorman, the Adjutant General, North Dakota National Guard, Command Sergeant Major Jason Magnuson, Senior Enlisted Leader, North Dakota National Guard. We have in our attendance this afternoon other distinguished guests that I would like to introduce. When called, please stand to be recognized. I ask that the audience hold their applause until all introductions have been made. Joining us today are Mrs. Kimberly Strom, North Dakota National Guard Army Land Component Commander, Brigadier General Jonathan Erickson, North Dakota National Guard Army Chief of Staff, Colonel Deb Lean, North Dakota National Guard State Command Sergeant Major Eric Binstock, North Dakota National Guard Command Chief Warrant Officer 4, Rob Dorman, 68th Troop Command Commander Colonel Paul Elton, and Command Sergeant Major Russ Garrett. 188th ADA Regiment Battalion Commander Major Alan Rourke, and Command Sergeant Major Joseph Weston. And the soldiers, families, friends, and employers of the 1st, the 188th Air Defense Artillery Regiment. And the Grand Forks Military Affairs Committee representatives. Thank you. Today we are here to recognize Bravo Battery, 1st Battalion, 188th ADA Regiment. Artillery in the North Dakota dates back to the territorial days in 1885, when the 1st and 2nd Dakota Infantry Regiments were organized and a small artillery battery was activated in Lisbon, North Dakota. Statehood in 1889 brought changes and additional units into the 1st North Dakota Regiment as the artillery battery remained in Lisbon. The composition in 1898 included 8 companies of the 1st North Dakota Regiment who were activated, mobilized, and sent to the Philippine Islands to fight the Spanish and later Filipino insurgents. In 1940, 188th Field Artillery Regiment. Later on, October 1, 1988, the 1st of the 188th was reorganized as an Air Defense Artillery Regiment. The attacks on 9/11 would significantly affect the battalion for years to come. 100 soldiers from Fox Battery were activated in 2004 and later deployed to Iraq in 2005 in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Bravo Battery has one of those soldiers in its ranks now who served on that mission, Sergeant First Class Tanner Norton. In late 2005, Fox and Echo batteries ended their brigade affiliations and reverted back to Bravo and Alpha respectively, while Charlie Battery relocated to Fargo, North Dakota. By year's end, Lancer System, or JLENS for short, and the Rapid Air Stat Initial Deployment, also known as RAID 1, has been activated along with 150 soldiers from Alpha Battery. Both batteries spent 2006 in Afghanistan in support of our Operation Enduring Freedom. Bravo Battery has 2 soldiers in its ranks now who served in support of those missions. Sergeant Murchison and Staff Sergeant Ledegy. In late 2006, RAID 2, made up of 40 soldiers, was activated and replaced the JLENS team in Afghanistan. During this time, battalion restructuring had transitioned Delta Battery into a maintenance unit. Another 40 soldiers, known as RAID 3, were activated in late 2008 and spent 2009 in Afghanistan. 100 soldiers from Bravo and Charlie batteries merged into Kosovo Forces mission with Charlie Company in 2009 in support of a maneuver task force until mid-2010. Bravo Battery has 3 soldiers in its ranks who served in support of those missions. Sergeant First Class Norton, Sergeant First Class Wieland, and Staff Sergeant Purnell. RAID Sentinel 4 activated 70 soldiers in late 2009, replacing RAID 3 in Afghanistan while sending a radar unit to Iraq. In April 2011, RAID Sentinel 4 battery was released from active duty, and the 1st of the 188th ADA became a whole battalion once again for the first time since late 1998. Bravo Battery has 3 soldiers in its ranks now who served in support of those missions. Lieutenant Larson, First Sergeant Tavis, the 188th ADA Regiment was mobilized to Washington, D.C. for a year-long deployment, providing integrated air defense of the National Capital Region. The 1st of the 188th Regiment returned twice more to the National Capital Region in March of 2017 and July of 2021. to perform this integrated air defense mobilization. I now ask that members of Bravo Battery who mobilized on the first NCR please stand and remain standing. Will the members of Bravo Battery who mobilized on the second NCR please stand and remain standing? Will the members of Bravo Battery who mobilized on the last NCR, who just got back, not 13 months ago, please stand? Please join me in a round of applause to recognize these soldiers and their sacrifice. Take your seats. The soldiers sitting before you today from Bravo Battery, 1st Battalion, 188th Air Defense Artillery Regiment will deploy to CENTCOM in support of Operation Inherent Resolve over the next 1 year. This will mark the 14th deployment for the battalion in 18 years, all of which Bravo Battery has played a part in. At this time, it is my honor to welcome to the podium the Lieutenant Governor of North Dakota, the Honorable Tammy Miller.
Thank you, Captain. It is my great honor to be here with all of you today. Family, friends, community leaders, community members. We're all here to support our troops as they prepare to say their goodbyes and deploy. The 1st Battalion of the 188th, Air Defense Artillery has experienced these send-offs many times. As you heard the captain say, this is the 14th deployment since 2004, making it the most deployed unit in the North Dakota National Guard. In fact, this coming Monday, as you heard, will mark exactly 1 year since we welcomed over 200 soldiers back who are on a year-long mission to secure the airspace over our nation's capital. And this was the 3rd time this battalion was deployed to Washington, D.C. But that's not unusual for this group. We know if it's in the military, in business, or in the public sector, the best always get called up. They're always in high demand for their service and their skill set. Everyone came home safe from the last deployment, and we hope and pray that we will have the same result with this deployment. Fortunately for our soldiers, we all know that hope is not a strategy. They have much more than hope going on this mission because they are one of the best trained and most professional National Guard units in the country with outstanding leadership. I want to recognize some of that leadership today. The unit commanders, like to recognize them for their strong leadership. Would you please stand? Captain Nicholas Kindlespire and Senior Enlisted Soldier, 1st Sergeant Michael Tavis. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Along with this great leadership, it wouldn't be done without our outstanding Adjutant General, Major General Al Dorman, and our Guard Senior Enlisted Leader, Command Sergeant Major Jason Magnuson. Thank you. We're also grateful to have Senator Hoven with us today. We have outstanding leadership in Washington, D.C. with Senator Hoven, Senator Kramer, and Representative Armstrong. We are so grateful for their leadership and their support for the military, the National Guard, the Reserve, and active duty. Because this battalion has been deployed so many times, we sometimes get comfortable with it, and we don't think it's a big deal. But for all the families involved, this is a big deal. It is a time filled with great emotion for parents, children, spouses, significant others, and friends. It will be a time of laughter and tears, hugs and kisses, long goodbyes, and well wishes for a safe return. The National Guard family and the community in our entire state, we are filled with pride knowing that you, more than 60 men and women in uniform today, are ready to deploy to keep our nation safe safe and stable as you go to an area that is not quite as stable. To the families of our soldiers, we know that when our soldiers deploy, it's a big sacrifice for all of you. And I would like all of our family members to stand up and be recognized. Let's give them all a round of applause. I see some cute kids up front. Stand up with your parents and let's recognize our families and the amazing sacrifices and support that they provide when their loved one is deployed. And when these National Guard members leave, they also leave a big hole in our communities. We know many of them are very active in the business community with their churches, their schools, other civic groups. And just by way of example, the leadership of Bravo Battery is a perfect example. Captain Kindlespire is a firefighter with the Fargo Police Department, and First Sergeant Tavis is the fire chief at Marathon Petroleum's renewable diesel facility in Dickinson, in addition to being a husband and a father of 3. We truly appreciate our employers who are supporting our soldiers. I know we have a number of employers and business groups in town here with us. Thank you so much for your support. You play a vital role when our soldiers are deployed and help them be successful when they are deployed and away from their place of work. Let's give a hand to all of our employers who are joining us today. Thank you. And this week especially, it is important to remember we mark the 22nd anniversary of the attacks on 9/11. We will never forget where we were that day. We will never forget the people who were lost on that day, and also those who were lost in the global war on. My husband Craig and I, my husband's here in the audience, we were able to join Team Red, White, and Blue in Bismarck on Monday for the 9/11 remembrance. We did a short walk from the Steamboat Park to the Global War on Terror Memorial at Frayne Barrack. We were able to join in the Invocation, a short program, and then a social to remember the 29 soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice and their families. And we know the air defense soldiers from the 188th defended our freedom in the global war on terror. As you heard, they were deployed 6 times to Afghanistan and twice to Iraq. As the most deployed unit in the North Dakota National Guard, when we see the 188th deploy so many times, it may start to feel ordinary. But make no mistake, it takes incredible courage to complete these tours of duty, and it is anything but ordinary. In fact, their service and sacrifice is extraordinary every single time. In North Dakota, we support all of our military members, past and present, as we work to make North Dakota the most military for veterans stand and be recognized. They truly know what our soldiers are going through today and through a deployment, and we couldn't thank the veterans enough who are with us. Stand up and be recognized. North Dakota National Guard units are the best in the country. No matter where or how you serve, you embody the National Guard motto: always ready, always there, answering the call to protect and serve and preserve our liberty. We are very proud of your service. Thank you for your service. We will keep you and your families in our thoughts and in our prayers until you return safely. God bless you, God bless the great state of North Dakota, and God bless America. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to invite the Honorable John Hoven to share a few words. Senator Hoven.
Thanks, Captain. Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's really great to be here. I hadn't been in this particular room in the Student Union before, but the Student Union's beautiful, and this room's really awesome. With all the windows and everything, being able to see out so well, it really is. It's great, and it's really fantastic to see this room full, to send some of our heroes off for about 10 months. And, I know it's tough for the families. You're going to miss them a lot. and that you serve right alongside them. But I tell you what, our Guard does such an incredible job of supporting you, the families here at home, and then making sure that you find ways to stay in touch with these great warriors for the 10 months that they'll be deployed. But, it's great to see the families and looking around, seeing these great young people, but knowing that, you have to, for all of you family members, you shoulder a lot of the load. And God bless you, too, for serving right along with your soldiers. So thanks so much. I want to recognize our dignitaries here, obviously starting with Lieutenant Miller, General Al Dorman, who he and I have worked together for a long time and has shown great leadership. Matter of fact, I've been overseas, Kosovo, for example, and seen him on deployment. So he's been right where, for those of you that are deploying, he knows exactly the incredible job that you do, because he's done it, he's been part of it. Also, Command Sergeant Major Jason Magnuson, thank you for your strong leadership. The North Dakota National Guard has an esprit de corps like none other, and that's because of strong leadership at all levels, whether it's through the Officer Corps, NCOs, across the board. It is absolutely one of the finest organizations that I've ever witnessed. And it's the leadership at every level, including the individual leadership, individual leadership each and every one of you soldiers and each and every one of you soldiers show every day, not only what you do in the military, but in the example you set in your civilian roles as well. I saw Scott Meyer in the back, Senator from here in North Dakota. Scott, are you still around? I want to thank any legislators that are here, and if there's any others, the incredible support that our legislators give our North Dakota National Guard, the absolute finest National Guard in these United States, bar none. Bar none. Also, want to thank, I think you're going to be hearing from Chaplain Chad Gion, at least he was in my notes, and appreciate him in these kind of times. Knowing that the Lord is with you and with your families is incredibly important. So we appreciate him being here with us to express that to all of us today. I think Lieutenant Governor Miller was right on when she said, this is the week of 9/11. This is the week of 9/11, right? So over 20 years ago this started, and you soldiers have been a huge part of the war on terror. You have carried the load in a huge way. We're here today with 80 outstanding professionals going to serve CENTCOM, and tomorrow we'll be down in Fargo thanking 150 members of the 191st Military Police who are coming back from 10 months service. And they were in Kuwait. But you've been all over the world. And as Lieutenant Governor said, you are the most deployed unit in the North Dakota National Guard. So the 1st 188th Air Defense Artillery, you are the most deployed unit in our North Dakota National Guard. And we have had a high ops tempo throughout our entire Guard, okay? And so I think this is the 13th, maybe 14th deployment over a 19-year span. Think about that. And so I think that Captain Edwardson was right on when he had you stand. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do it a little different because he's sharper than I am. But I want to go through and see how many have served how many times. So we're going to do that in just a minute. But I was just looking at the deployments. Afghanistan in 2008, and I managed to get over there. I think I've been in Afghanistan 3 or 4 times. But I've been over there to see our guys. Then Iraq, that was 2010. I've been there a number of times. Again, seeing our guys. Kosovo, that was one where you led that deployment. That was a huge deployment and just amazing. And again, I was there to see our guys every time. And then, of course, the most hazardous of all, Washington, D.C., where you've been deployed about, 4 or 5 times. and obviously I'm having a little fun there, but actually, think about it. I mean, you know, they want you there because nobody does a better job than the North Dakota National Guard, so that's why they keep asking for the 188th ADA to come protect the skies over our nation's capital. And they keep asking you back because nobody can perform at the incredible standard that you do. And it's not just when you're there and performing and doing the great job that you do, but it's the impact you have on the others as you train them as you come in and you come out. And you really have been the glue in that air defense artillery mission over our nation's capital for many years. I'll close on this note, and then I am going to present a flag. I know that the governor will be presenting a flag at the end. I did that for 10 years as governor because we've been in this war on terror for so long. But on behalf of Senator Kramer and Congressman Armstrong, we had a flag flown over the nation's capital in your honor, and I want to present that to your two leaders here, which I'll, so they can start making their way up if they want, both Captain Nick, your first sergeant, Michael Tavis. But before But I want to make one more point before we do that, and that's this. You know, you can't take things for granted. And it's human nature. We take things for granted. Like you come in the room, the lights go on, or it's heated, or whatever it is. But we can't take the military that we have in any way, shape, or form for granted. I would submit to you it's one of those remarkable and amazing militaries, even in a country that's always had an amazing military, going all the way back to the first Minutemen, which you, the National Guard, are today's Minutemen, really. It goes all the way back. But think about our military today. First off, it's all volunteer. It's all volunteer. Now, what does that say? That means every single one of you said, I want to step forward. I want to serve my country. I am willing to put it all on the line. I'm willing to make sacrifices to serve my country. Every single one of you. It starts there. You're not drafted. Look at Putin fighting his war over there in Ukraine. I mean, he's basically going out in the streets and dragging them off the streets and putting them in the military. It makes a huge difference. You sign up. You commit yourself to serve. And then you get the absolute best training. No one is trained the way you are. The professionalism, the capabilities. No one even comes close in terms of the training. And then the weapon systems, the tools we give you. We give you the best tools of any military in the history of the world, and we must be committed to always doing that. You always need superiority in the weapon systems that you have versus anyone that we run up against. Against any of our adversaries in any situation, you must always have the best weapons and the best tools. And then on top of that, battle tested. Battle tested. You are a military force that has now been in this war on terror for 20 years. You're not guessing what battle is like. You've been there. And you've been there for 20 years, and you've been there for each other, and you've been handing off to each other, you've been taking care of each other. We have an incredible, incredible military. And like I say, we need to stop and think about that, because every single day we're safe in this country because of you and because of that incredible commitment. So now if I can, I'll probably do a crummy job of this. I'm sure the captain did it way better. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have everybody stand that's being deployed, and then I'm going to have the ones that haven't been deployed sit down, haven't been deployed before sit down, and then all the ones that have only been deployed once before sit down. I want to see how many we have and how many years. And I think the captains, hold your applause. I know it's going to be hard. You're going to clap throughout. But once we've kind of gotten all the way down to the ones that have been deployed the most times, then I want everyone to stand back up, and I want to really, really, really hear it for these guys. I want to show them the real love that we have in our hearts for all of them. So everyone that's deploying, up you go. Okay. Now, anyone where this is your first deployment, sit down. Okay. Now, anyone that's been only deployed once before, you're next. So now, remember, everybody standing here has been deployed twice. This will be their third. Okay, now anyone that's been deployed twice before, now you go down. Now these guys have been deployed, this will be their fourth. Okay, now for any of you that have been deployed 3 times before, down you go. This is their 5th. Do I need to keep going, guys? Is there more? Okay, anybody that's been deployed 4 times, down you go. 6. Now, before I go any further, look, there's a whole bunch of guys up there. They've been deployed a bunch of times too. They don't even get in this deal. Do I need to keep going? Okay. Everybody back up that's being deployed. Serious love for these guys. Let's go. Okay, now you can all say, and 6 times for 3 of those guys. Unbelievable commitment. Okay, now we're going to do a flag handoff. And so you 2 guys, come on up. Captain and First Sergeant, come on up. And then you 3 need to help with this thing now. Thank you. Thank you. Now, while we're unfurling this, now remember, Captain, First Sergeant, as we're unfurling this, you have to help us civilians, me and the Lieutenant Gov, not let this thing touch the ground. I know those 2 won't mess it up, but we might, or at least I might. I know you wouldn't. Okay. One other thing, while we're unfurling this thing, could you guys do 2 things for you? The 188th Army Band. Were you guys? What were you? Were you guys 88 guys at one point? How did you get that? Huh?
There's a long history there, sir.
Okay. So first, the guy that sang the Star Spangled Banner a cappella, stand up. What is your name?
My name is Sergeant Tamberg, Senator.
Did you think he did a good job? You know how hard that is? We love these guys. They are awesome. And anyone that doesn't think it's hard to sing the Star Spangled Banner a cappella, do it right now. Rest my case. Okay, let's unfurl this flag. At the request not only myself, but Senator Kramer and Congressman Armstrong. And this is a tradition we do, and the Lieutenant Gov will do it with the state flag as well. This for each other. There's 80 of you going over with this flag, and there's 80 of you coming back with this flag, and we'll see you then. God bless you.
Thank you, Senator Hoven. Next, we will hear from the Adjutant General, Major General Dorman.
All right. And walking up here in silence, so I appreciate you bailing me out on that. Well, I hope everyone's rested because there's been so much left unsaid today. Wait a minute, let me check my notes. Now it's all been said. But I'll repeat a few things that have been said so you know how I feel. But first, I want to thank our distinguished guests up on the stage with me. You know, Senator Hoven said don't take for granted what our soldiers and what our National Guard do, but we also can't take for granted the level of support we get from our elected leaders in the state of North Dakota. Through here, we have a couple representatives here for Senator Kramer and Representative Armstrong, but this doesn't happen in every state. And I don't personally take that for granted, the support we get from our elected leaders. I'll give a shout out to Senator Meyer in the back there too. Lieutenant Governor Miller talked about North Dakota being one of the most military-friendly states. That gentleman is working on that every single legislative session to make sure that we got the tools and the facilities we need to do the job that's asked of us. So Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you all for joining us today. I haven't been in this facility. I'm a proud alumni of the University of North Dakota, but this building wasn't here when I went to school here. I used to tie my horse up right over there, but see, it's only funny because I look so young, or is it the other way around? All right, I haven't checked that one, but thank you for being here. The Senator Hoven mentioned standing room only. We're a nation, if not at war, we're a nation with people that want to do us harm and want to see us fail. And things are not slowing down for our military. They're not slowing down for the North Dakota National Guard. I did the math the other day. Over the last 3 years, we've deployed 1,005 soldiers for missions both in the continental United States and overseas. That is 25% of the force that has deployed in the last 3 years. And on top of that, we had state active duty. I'm not fond of talking about pandemic response, but that was our longest domestic operation ever, with the most personnel days put toward it. And again, the North Dakota National Guard knocked it out of the park. It's easy being a leader in this organization when I can say, I don't know how to do it, but you guys figure it out, and you figure it out every single time. So thank you for that. And it's already been mentioned that as busy as we are, this battalion and its batteries have been the busiest. 25 of the 80 that are deploying with this unit have deployed before, as already been highlighted, some multiple times. We ask a lot of our air defense artillery, and you guys have delivered every single time. Not just the soldiers, but the soldiers and their families have delivered every single time. I think it's ironic, it was about 10 years ago, they were getting ready to get rid of all air defense artillery. Now, I know Senator Hoven, you sit on some committees that get some high-level intelligence. That would have been a huge mistake. And I remember going to an ADA dining in and not drinking any grog because it looked horrible. If you don't know what grog is, ask around. It's horrible. But and my big news was that the ADA was not going away. But you think about it, that was 10 years ago where they were thinking we may not need ADA, air defense artillery, anymore because, you know, nobody's flying planes overhead in the places we go. And how short-sighted that had been. And now, in 2023, it's one of the most high-demand units, one of the most relevant units in our inventory. And for our employers, it's already been mentioned, but I want to thank them and our ESGR team and employer support of the Guard and Reserve. They do a fantastic job. This is a bunch of volunteers that work with our employers, work with our units to make sure that there's as little friction as possible between our employers and our service members. But we couldn't do what we do without the support of our employers. When I meet with groups of employers, I let them know that you are serving your country every single day. Whether you put on the uniform of the United States military or not, you serve every day by supporting our guardsmen. And I also think we give something back to employers. The experiences, the training that you guys receive, the leadership challenges that you will face over the next year will make you a much better employee when you get back to your place of business. For our families, you got the toughest job, in my opinion. The senator mentioned I deployed to Kosovo about 12 years ago now, and I deployed to Kosovo about 5 years before that. So I've gone twice. The first time I left my wife with 3 children under the age of 7. Girl, who was really good at pushing mom's buttons. You know, the challenge I had in that deployed environment, I would submit is nothing compared to keeping 3 or 4 kids in activities and running around and doing all that stuff. So for our families, just thank you for what you do. Thank you for your support of our soldiers. Thank you for allowing us to do what we do, because frankly, we could not do it without you. And I really want to highlight the kids. I know we have people stand up, but I would ask all the kids to stand up now, and if you are not yet walking, have a parent help you. But if the kids would stand up right now and be recognized, I would appreciate that. Kiddos, stand up. was anticipating a standing ovation, but then we went to be able to see the kids, so that's great. But hey, kids, you're serving each and every day by helping out your mom and dad. And whichever one's deploying, the one that needs your help is the one that's staying home. So please help out mom and dad while they have this very important mission to carry out. And thanks too to everyone else that makes this happen for our soldiers when they deploy. Friends, family, extended family. We got to be there for one another during these difficult times, and I know that this unit, that will happen. For our deploying soldiers, to our leaders, Captain Kindlespire, I think we probably met before. Maybe I commissioned you. Did I?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
So, why don't you like me? You should share that with the whole group. But, all right, well, we met today. And First Sergeant, you could be a recruiting poster. But you guys are ready. I could tell in the time I spent with you this morning, you are ready. Trust your training, trust your gut. Remember before I went to Kosovo, somebody asked me if I was scared that whether I was ready for the mission or not. And I said I was scared every day. But there's a reason leadership put you in the positions you're in. And it's because you are ready to lead this unit. Trust your training, trust your gut. You guys will do an outstanding job. And there's something special about deployed command. There's something special about command. But not every command team gets the opportunity to take their unit downrange and do a mission for our country. So cherish this opportunity. Make sure that you're focused on the mission, focused on the people. You know this as well as I do. If you focus on your soldiers and you empower them, your job is going to get easy. But you guys will be ready. For the officers, NCOs, and soldiers, you're well disciplined, you're trained, you have lots of experience, which has been established. Today, I know you are ready. Trust your leaders, trust your training, and care for one another. This is a team sport. And just the nature of how you guys execute your mission, you're not always going to be in one location all together the whole time. So when Senator Hoven talks about leadership up and down the chain, it is absolutely imperative with this unit. But you guys are used to operating that way. I know you'll be ready. Command Sergeant Major, I'm sure, is going to talk about this. But take the opportunity during this deployment to become a better person, a better soldier, a better spouse, parent, son, daughter, mom, dad, employee, friend. And I know that sounds like a big challenge, but frankly, in my experience, it's one of the best times to work on yourself, work on your relationships, and work on your connections. But please take the opportunity to better yourself during this deployment and come home a better person. The North Dakota National Guard has a record of excellence dating back to 9 medals of honor at the Battle of the Burning Bridge in the Philippine Insurrection, up through World War II, where the 164th Infantry of the North Dakota National Guard was the first Army unit, not the first National Guard unit, the first Army unit to engage the enemy in offensive operations at Guadalcanal with Chesty Puller's Marines, to what we have done over the last 20 years since 9/11/2001. And I have no doubt that you will do just that. I look forward to visiting you in theater. I've penciled in a winter month already to do that. But I look forward to that. That's my version of going to Arizona in the summertime. I go to Kuwait and Africa. But I look forward to visiting you. It is my honor to serve alongside each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, General Dorman. I ask the Senior Enlisted Leader, Command Sergeant Major Jason Magnuson, to say a few words.
All right, good afternoon. So I'm not big on speech writing, but can you imagine writing a speech and trying to follow the people we have on stage? They cover a lot of good topics, and so we'll cover a few more. But I do want to just say, first of all, Lieutenant Governor Miller, Senator Hoven, General Dorman, all the distinguished guests we have here. I really appreciate your attendance here, showing and emphasizing how important the missions are that we have. So I really do appreciate you being here, coming here in person, coming here with representation to be able to share some of the words and to be able to send our soldiers off the way we should. So just a few things that I want to do here is just share a few pieces of advice. You've heard the comments already, but just a few things. But first of all, to the families, to the extended families, to the friends of the families, I want to thank you for what you're about to do. What you do is vitally important to the soldiers we have and to the missions that we have. You're taking care of things at home that our soldiers are not able to attend to directly, and really takes the stress off of what they're doing to allow them to do the one job that they have over there. The families here are doing multiple jobs, as we see already. They're doing multiple jobs. Your soldiers are doing one, but to be able to focus on that is vitally important. So I really want to thank you for what you do. I think that one of the things that I always understood was that I think that every appliance in my house is just waiting for me to leave so that it could finally fail and then somebody else would have to deal with it. Those types of things will happen. Outlets will go out, furnaces will go out, fridges will go out. I just ask you that the one piece of advice I have is have that support network that you have. Whether it be your family, maybe it's a father-in-law, or maybe it's somebody through the FRG. I believe Brandy Urbondo is the FRG leader. So please reach out and make sure that you have that support network, so that when one of those things do fail, that we have a way to deal with it quickly and it doesn't become a giant stress point. To the soldiers, just a few pieces here. We've heard it before, and it really, sometimes I don't even feel like I need to explain it to a battalion like this. This is a very professional battalion, but I just like to re-emphasize it. But being the professional soldier, the professional soldier that you've trained to be, you aspire to be. One thing I've noticed on any deployments or any time I go anywhere, people are always watching us. They're always looking at us and drawing comparisons and have a higher expectation of us because of the uniform that we wear. I mean, the U.S. flag we wear on our right shoulder represents that we represent the United States in anything we do. And there might be people from outside the United States that see us, see that flag, and they draw that conclusion immediately. But also on your left shoulder, where you're wearing a North Dakota flag, or your North Dakota patch, I'm sorry, people recognize that. The military people all over recognize that. And they've already drawn conclusions because they've seen some of the predecessors that we have within our state that have done amazing things. So it's something to look forward to, but just know that everybody's watching and they have high expectations. And I have no doubt that you'll live up to those. Next thing I've got is to be patient with your families at home. Things are changing. You'll be in a changing environment. Your families are in a very changing environment. Having that patience with the families at home because you have that one job to do and they've got so many more, things are going to change. To the soldiers, I'd like to just challenge you to find something to better yourself while deployed. You've already heard it, but I look at things like the mind, the body, and the spirit. If you can find something to do, whether it be through education, physical fitness, reconnecting with your faith, but to address the mind, body, and spirit while you're gone, finding something. You'll have some downtime. You'll have some time away from your normal work, and this is a really good time to re-emphasize those areas. To the squad leaders, we've really emphasized the squad leader empowerment, specifically within a battalion like this, because of the role you play and the way you're decentralized. So really, squad leaders, take this as a great opportunity. I look at this as your Super Bowl. You'll never get a shot to be a squad leader again. And this is your one shot to do it in a deployed environment. I just challenge you to know your squads, every detail. Be prepared, have that squad prepared for every mission, and have that elevator speech ready so that when somebody asks you what your squad capabilities are, that you're ready to rattle off that capability, know your strengths, and know what you bring to the fight. To the leadership, Captain Kindlespire, First Sergeant Tavis, just a couple of notes for you. This will be a challenging mission, as you're fully aware. The changes will be constant, I'm sure. I'm sure that what you see when you get on the ground is not going to be anything like what it looks like when you leave. So the change will be constant. But as has been said already, trust your squad leaders, trust your team. You've trained them, you've developed them, they're ready to go, and I have every faith that they'll do everything they need to. So in closing, just one more thing, a key to success that I'd like to pass on to all the units that go. Every day, look for a way to improve your position. Every day, look for a way to improve your position. It could be something small, it could be something big, but look for ways to make that improvement. The North Dakota units that have been successful have found ways to do that. And whether it's at the battery level, where you're finding ways at the battery level to be better, or even it's down to the individual level, finding ways that you can do something better. But every day, look for something better. That's a tradition that's been going on for a very long time, and I know this unit will continue it. It's been said already as well that North Dakota has the best National Guard in the United States. Those aren't just words. I mean, I've had a chance to go see every unit that you can imagine out training, and our soldiers, for whatever reason it is, seem to outperform and just have that it factor that not everybody has. So in closing, I'm going to give you the command team, Captain Kindlespire and First Sergeant Tavis, the few words that my father gave to me the last time I deployed. He gave me this. He said, just bring them all home safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Command Sergeant Major Magnuson. At this time, we welcome Mr. Randy Richards, representing Senator Kramer's office.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today to represent Senator Kramer. Just a few remarks. It's been an eventful day in Grand Forks. My son Ryan and we represented the senator at the Alzheimer's Walk this morning. And I bring that up because that's a difficult subject, but it hit me during that event just how much love and unity came out of that. Families needed that. I personally needed that. So for this event, and I'm going to be honest, I don't probably like a lot of you, I don't like goodbyes. I never have. But like this morning at the walk, today in this room, there's a real feeling of love and unity. And we 100% need that in this country, in my opinion. And we also 100%, I will say to people in this room, what I've got from when I was mingling before I came in and during the event, I feel like we 100% in this room support our Guard, our families, our state, and our nation. So while it's easy, it's not easy to say goodbye, or even in this case, see you later. I think General Dorman used that line on one of these events one time. We need events like this. We need an opportunity to express our love and show that we're united. So I appreciate General Dorman and our Guard leadership for creating such a positive and much needed event like this one. And so I'll just have a few comments from Senator Kramer. I think a lot of it's been said. He just wanted to pass on that you guys represent the best of our state and our nation, and he hopes you'll wear your uniform proudly, knowing that your loved ones and other grateful citizens will never take for granted what you're doing. He wanted to pass on that his wife Chris and himself, they wish you every success in your mission, and they'll pray that while you're gone, that God will guide your work and bring you safely home. So thank you again for allowing me to have these few remarks, and God bless you as you deploy.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. At this time, we welcome Miss Mary Christie, representing Congressman Armstrong's office.
Good afternoon for the vertically challenged, and I'll move the mic down a little bit. Yes, my name is Mary Christie, and I'm happy to be here on behalf of Congressman Armstrong, who sends his deepest regrets. He's unable to be with you and the families here as you prepare gratitude for your service to our great country. The reputation of this regiment is known throughout the world. Your expertise and commitment speak volumes as the most deployed unit within the North Dakota National Guard. Whether it's protecting our nation's capital or on a NATO peacekeeping mission, you hear the call and serve selflessly. Lies with our dedicated service members who continue to defend our communities, state, and country. Kelly has the utmost admiration for the men and women in this room and for those who uphold the proud tradition in all branches of our military. It's with the highest regard for each of you and our soldiers that Congressman Armstrong thanks you for your commitment to our nation and sends his best wishes for this mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Christie. At this time, I would like to call upon the Battery Commander, Captain Nicholas Kindlespire, and the Battery First Sergeant, First Sergeant Michael Tavis, to address the audience. Captain Kindlespire.
Good afternoon, everyone. To our distinguished guests and visitors, thank you for being here. And to all you family and friends, thank you for being here today as Bravo Battery embarks on its next adventure. We are grateful for the support we have received from our state leaders, state medical detachment, our battalion, and our sister batteries that have helped us prepare for this upcoming mission. I want to especially express more to us than I can express. As difficult as separation is for us, we know it takes an incredible toll on you too. Without your support, we could not perform our duties to the best of our abilities. You are the reason we are able to continue our tradition of excellence, both domestically and abroad. Now, to prepare for this mission, your soldiers have been tested both physically and mentally as they put in early mornings and late nights, listened to numerous briefings, and performed all the necessary training needed to achieve a high level of individual and unit readiness. They've done all this while displaying resiliency and poise. Through several changes to training plans and mission requirements, they have remained flexible. We can hit the ground running. When you read the national and international headlines, it's apparent that the need for air defense assets continues to grow. This upcoming mission is a new one for us and our battalion, but our job remains the same: to deter and defeat aerial threats. And when the time came during annual training to get evaluated on our ability to do just that, your soldiers didn't just meet that expectation, they exceeded it. We still have a lot of work to do, though. We will continue to learn and refine our craft when we're down at pre-mobilization training in Fort Bliss. And there, too, we will excel. I know it. We are mobilizing as only a small unit, but our capabilities will prove to be critical for all the elements we support. I want to close by saying thank you for your trust. Leadership is a privilege and not a right. I do not take my responsibility lightly. First Sergeant Tavis does not take his responsibility lightly. Over the course of the next year, your family members will be under my watch. I will never forget for a single minute that you have entrusted me with their care. Our battalion's tradition of excellence was developed through several periods of difficult separation and tragic loss. I promise that I will never take your soldiers' sacrifice or yours for granted. I'm very proud of your soldiers. They are professionals, and I can say with the utmost confidence, the best soldiers in the North Dakota Army National Guard. Thank you again for being with us today as one family.
Thank you, sir, and greetings, Lieutenant Governor, Senator, General, distinguished guests, and everyone here in attendance. Initially, I was looking at about 5 minutes for this speech, but judging by my kids, I think I have about 2 minutes before we have a meltdown, so I'll try and wrap this up quick. I'm First Sergeant Tavis, Bravo Battery's First Sergeant. Today, we're gathered together. We're experiencing complex emotions, ranging from joy to sorrow, excitement to reluctance, and pride to worry. Standing up here, looking at the men and women in uniform, I can't help but feel a profound sense of pride and respect for their selflessness. Now our unit has been tasked with answering our nation's call once again. Many of these soldiers, as we have seen, have mobilized in the past. Some have 2 to 6 mobilizations. Each of them have exhibited remarkable courage and dedication. They have sacrificed their time, education, work, family, and social events to answer our nation's call, and it has been a privilege to get to serve alongside them. Now, our mission has been challenging since we first formed 6 months ago. The destination changed. Our mission changed. There were constant adjustments to our training plan, to personnel, teams, equipment, and just the transportation logistics to move everything. Nevertheless, we persevered. We confronted each obstacle with great determination and fortitude. On this occasion today, I want to express my sincere gratitude to all the grandparents, to the parents, spouses, children, family, and friends who've supported your loved ones over the last few months. Soldiers are often recognized for their bravery and the hardships that they face, but it's the families that carry the most significant burden. It's the families that have to carry the heaviest weight in order to keep their soldier grounded and focused on the mission. Your unwavering devotion and support for your soldier is the most valuable service someone could ever offer. I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you. To all the parents about to fulfill the role of mom and dad while your soldier is deployed, ready to juggle and experience chaos and juggle the complexities of home, work, and children, I want to express my admiration and offer some words of hope. Being the rock that'll keep your soldier grounded while focusing on the mission isn't going to be easy. It'll come with a significant challenge, and oftentimes it's going to feel overwhelming. For the daily routine of waking up early, getting yourself ready, getting your children out of bed, fed, dressed, and off to school is only the beginning. Then you're going to head off to work, and after a long day of work, you'll pick up the children, take them to sports, birthdays, activities, shopping, only to have to come home to make dinner. Some of the times, you're going to end up burning dinner or feel like you're constantly getting takeout food, but that's busy multitasking. You're going to settle countless arguments, clean, do laundry, help with homework, and ultimately try and keep up with your child's endless energy, which is very tough at sometimes. Outnumbered, bedtime and bath time will feel like a never-ending fight, leaving you drained and exhausted. But that's okay. Defeated, you might go to bed some nights, only knowing that the same battle is going to face you tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. As a single parent, taking on all the responsibilities, it's going to become easy to get lost in the daily grind and truly forget the most important thing. That's the love your child has for you. You're going to be hurt by constantly yelling, putting someone in timeout, taking away toys, or feeling like the villain. But that's okay. Your actions are out of love. You ultimately care for their well-being. I want you to know right now, no matter how challenging the day has been, whether you've lost your voice from yelling all day, or if you just feel like a villain for all the punishments, I want you to remember that warm embrace of your child at bedtime. That is their gentle reminder to you that no matter how tough the day has been, whether you put them in timeout, they forgive you. Their love for you is unconditional and unyielding. They see you as their hero, and they look up to you. To all the families of soldiers, in the upcoming year, there's going to be times where you might feel isolated and alone, as if no one else understands the weight that's placed on your shoulders. It's going to be difficult having to put on a mask, a brave mask, trying to hide that pain and sadness from your coworkers, your children, and family, only to be able to break down in private and cry, then put the mask back on as if nothing ever happened. Looking around, I want you to know you're not alone. We're all one family here. There are 80 other parents in this room about to experience the same emotions as you. I encourage you to use the FRG, to reach out to one another, form bonds, support each other, share your stories, the laughter, and even the tears. At this moment, I would like everyone to take a look at all the men and women in uniform today with Bravo Battery. I want you to be proud of their remarkable accomplishments. The progress made by those in this room over the last 6 months has been a great source of inspiration for the entire battalion. They not only exceeded all their training goals and fulfilled their duties, many of them volunteered extra time to ensure mission readiness. They displayed exceptional professionalism that was admired by others. They adapted well, and they even learned to get comfortable with being uncomfortability. They made quick, decisive decisions under pressure. All of these different experiences that you've heard today have brought together 80 men and women from various parts of the state, different backgrounds, all together creating a strong team, a team that's ready to fight and execute their duties. Bravo Battery is about to leave on a historic mission for the air defense community, and the first of its kind for the North Dakota National Guard. The soldiers here are going to put their expertise to the test, constantly refining their tactics and techniques in order to enhance active air defense operations. Once they return, they're going to share this knowledge, serving as stewards and role models for other soldiers in the air defense profession. All of these experiences are going to propel them forward in their careers and equip them with the tools necessary to train that next generation of air defenders. Each soldier's pride, diligence, perseverance, and eagerness to improve and succeed fills me with the confidence that Bravo Battery is going to overcome any obstacle in the upcoming year. Bravo Battery is going to raise the bar, we're going to set the standard, and we're going to live up to our motto. We're going to demonstrate to everyone that we are the first to fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Kindlespire and First Sergeant Tavis. I ask you to please remain on the stage. Lieutenant Governor Miller will continue the time-honored tradition of presenting the state flag to the battery commander and battery first sergeant of Bravo Battery 1st Battalion, 188th Air Defense Artillery Regiment. So I invite you, Lieutenant Governor Miller, and the rest of the crew to step up and present this flag. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Miller and Major General Alan Dorman. I would like to once again thank the official party for their time and their words. The support pledged during this ceremony should serve as comfort to the deployers and their families. It is very much appreciated. Please rise.
Let us pray. Lord God, we hold before you in prayer all of the soldiers of Bravo Battery and their families. You created each of these men and women with love and purpose. Their lives are not an accident or without meaning. They are the result of an intentional act on your part to bring them each into existence. May they know in their hearts that they are truly a gift to the world, given by you. Fill their hearts with your Holy Spirit. Let them feel your presence in their daily lives, calling them to do what is right and avoid what is evil. May they, by your grace, encourage one another and support each other in the challenges ahead. Guide them along right paths. May they fear no evil, knowing that you are by their side to comfort them. Return these soldiers to their homes in safety, having fully and honorably accomplished their mission. We pray for Bravo Battery Command Team. May your wise spirit guide them in every moment of every day. Heal divisions and calm fears in the families gathered here. May your peace reign in their hearts and in their homes. Protect these soldiers and their families from all harm. Assure them in times of uncertainty. Strengthen them in times of weakness. Always grant that these families experience your love and your presence. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Please remain standing for the departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, this officially concludes our ceremony. I would like to thank our distinguished guests, families, and friends of Bravo Battery 1st Battalion 188th Air Defense Artillery Regiment for making this a memorable send-off for our soldiers. I invite everyone to stay and wish these soldiers and their families well. Let's have one more round of applause for Bravo Battery 1st Battalion 188th ADA. This concludes our ceremony.